Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. We're all glad you're here. 23 comments in 1 minute. I can't keep up with that. And I'm telling y'all something else, too. I'm liking that song better and better every time I hear it. Of course, I only hear it once a week, so that's a good thing. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
All good here.
How was your week, CW?
It went by really quick. I sent my pop off to Maine with my little sister, so I had the house to myself. So it was actually peaceful. I got a lot of work done here around the house. I did that spring cleaning thing, and I painted the walls here in the living room. I got a whole lot done. Washed a whole bunch of sheets and curtains and tablecloths and stuff that doesn't get washed all the time. And got a lot done. A lot better around here. I didn't even get to the range this week. That's how much I was doing around the house. I got a couple videos done. I got a couple of things in the mail. I did a VR for Hobby's Hobo, which you saw yesterday, and it was a good week. A good week. What about you, Gene? How was your week?
Billy. I need to have my hat on when I do that.
Yeah.
I need my hillbilly hat on when I do that. My week was good too. It did go by pretty quick. I spent all week long in front of automated priming machines, loading brass and primers in them. Yesterday, I primed 60,000 pieces of 9mm.
Wow.
Started in the morning and went, at 8 o'clock in the morning, went till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I love opening boxes of 10,000 primers that belong to somebody else.
Yes.
That you didn't have to buy.
I picked up 10,000 primers too. My boss helps me out a lot, so I got them dirt cheap. I mean, back in the day prices is what he gave it to me for. But he sponsors me too, so
I found some this week that were the price were about $5 or $10 more than I paid like 5 years ago. I found some.
Wow.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Good
believe
news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, everything's been going pretty good. I got a lot of videos in queue to get edited. I have not forgot about the Scotsman with my 5,000 sub giveaway and the 2 packages. That video is done and it's in queue to get edited and uploaded, which I will have done this weekend. So that'll be up. I did get a visitor from one of our lurkers. We have lurkers out there that don't really comment on anything. They just watch our channel. I had a pleasure meeting this gentleman, and he wants to stay anonymous, but he brought a cash donation to me. So if you're watching out there, Mr. Lurker, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate you. And it was nice meeting you.
I had
so cool.
I had an email that said, "Hey, guess what? I got to meet Gene at his work today. That's really cool."
Oh, did you?
Yeah. That's so cool.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was real. That was it's very nice for him to stop in and get to meet someone else off of YouTube that follows channels. And he's a really nice guy, very pleasant to talk to, and that was very kind of him to give a donation.
So does this fella watch your channel or does he watch us?
He watches us, and apparently Hillbilly knows who it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a good part of the 2A community. Great person.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So while you're talking, Hillbilly, how was your week?
Oh man, doing good, I reckon. Didn't put out any videos this week because I was afraid of getting in trouble. So I learned how to get around this. We don't want as Boomstick listening because he's always in trouble.
I haven't heard him. I haven't seen him yet.
If you don't want to get in trouble on your channel, you just post videos on other people's channel. Then you don't got to worry about it.
Here you go. That'll work. Yeah.
Yeah. other than that, doing great. Fundraiser for Scotsman's going great. Really been having a good time visiting with people that's been emailing, and of course I had a lot of fun making that video.
I gotta watch that one. There's Thorzak's. Hey, buddy. We got all kind of cool folks out there. Show them we
Yes,
got 38 already.
Awesome.
So we're glad you're here, man. I made a prognostication right before we started. I said, it's 15 seconds till time for the show to start. No, 1 minute. I said, he'll be here between now and 10 minutes from now. There you are.
Sliding in. Oh, man.
Probably come straight in from outside, cutting grass.
Yeah, there's grass all over the floor back here.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah, I actually was cutting grass.
I got to get up early and do that in the morning, but we got 2 more panel guests to get to. Mr. Viejo, how was your week, buddy?
Hey, good evening, everybody. And thanks as always for handing me the opportunity to come on here and participate with you fine folks and our elite members of the side chat over there. Always good to see everybody. I had a pretty good week myself. Weather's been good here, much better than most of the rest of the country. Our days are topping out around 75 degrees and nights are cooling down nice to 54 or something like that. So I got to the range a couple times, did some shooting. We got that second video in the series of the Great Dillon 550 restoration project came out Monday, and do the next step on next Monday. And we had a casting video up on Rumble today, because what happens if we try to do that on Useless Tube? We can't do much with casting, so that's all over there on the Rumble channel. And just kind of a good week. I had lunch with some buddies today. I got in a good hike up in the coastal mountain range here earlier in the week with a friend of mine, so that was all fun. So good week all the way around for old Viejo here. He's hanging in.
I gotta admit, I'm really self-conscious about saying Viejo.
Why?
I don't know, man. I'm just afraid it's going to come out as something else.
I respond to either version. Let's put it that way. One of them is one of them's more appropriate than the other.
Especially you don't pronunciate very good like we do here in the South.
I know, right, man. I have to be very conscious about saying Viejo.
Look at here. Lead Bullet Junkie. Hey, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Yeah, I should probably take that down, shouldn't I? There you go. 6, how was your week, bud?
It's been good, I guess. Trying to stay dry.
Well, you didn't start a fire in Texas like Walter did in California, did you? They got another fire going on.
Ain't nothing gonna burn here. It's soaking wet.
I know. That's a good thing.
Well, it's too wet. I think my boss this morning, he showed a picture of a tree laying in his driveway. The ground's so wet, it can't even hold the trees up.
Wow.
We're starting to have that problem now. Boy, if we have a good wind, it's going to be a mess. So, but no, thanks for letting me come on again. Other than that, just working. Another week of work.
Yeah. I know the feeling. All right, so our special guest ain't here yet, but he did send me an email, and he's tying up some things. And no, Walter, her name's not Rhonda. So, he should be in here shortly. We want to talk about PRS Precision Rifle Series. There's our old buddy MCK. I was texting with him a little bit. He put a video out about his garden today. If y'all get a chance to check that out. I'm still trying to watch Six's video about the grips that he bought Miss Penny, so I'm excited to get to watch
Very
that.
nice, you know.
Haven't even started Walter's video about. I'm not doing this on purpose. I want to watch the series on this press thing, and I want to go back and watch your 45 ACP thing too. I want to watch all of those, and I'll just. Here's my problem, guys, and I know Scotsman done told me to quit making excuses because I have a mouse now. So there's that. But when I'm at work, my feed is not the same as it is at home because if I'm on, I can switch to either my JH586 account on YouTube, or I can switch to the Georgia Shooting Connection account. But when I click on a video, I get my regular feed. But when I click on a video on the work network, it says this video is not available. And so that's throwing me in a wrench. So I have to use my personal work account. So I got to go and switch back and forth between those two accounts and make sure I'm subbed to all you guys on my personal. That way I can get y'all's videos at work. Like I went looking for Walter's channel the other day at work from my work account, and I typed in Viejo. Guys, there's everything up there but Walter, you know. There is. And DJ Play Nice joined us, and there's RTAC, and that's what I do by my dad. But when I click on some of y'all's videos, it won't show me those.
I put up two today just because I knew you were behind, Jamie.
Yeah. And so that's another thing. I'm working like a one-arm paper hanger over there, and I still got like 130 Chromebooks I need to get fixed by next Thursday when the kids get there. Now, y'all remember, I had 440, I think, when summer first started, but I'm whining. We got to stop. We got to get on with something here. So let me see if I can find this video and show y'all just a clip of it before he gets here. Y'all want to do that? Y'all think we ought to do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me do this and give you just some idea about what that looks like. If I can find it. Here it is. Let's do this. Let's do this. And that. Bye. Wow. I'll get it in a second. All right, so I hope I hope y'all were watching that little cut, that little circle over in the lower right hand corner. He went to 4 different positions, but he was only hitting one, only shooting at one target, and he nailed him. And speaking of which, there he is right now, Mr. Chad Kelly. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, I made it. So hopefully everything's working right.
Looks good, man.
Yeah, you look good.
Looks
All
good.
right. So yeah, this is probably the earliest I've been home on a Friday night in, I don't know, 6 years.
Well, good. Glad we were able to make that excuse for you to get out of work.
Yeah.
Chad, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Good to see everybody. I was going to mess with some of my lights, and then I realized I guess some things have changed, so I'll tinker around as I go through this. But
Hey, you're good. You're nice and bright. You can see you good.
yeah,
No, that's perfect.
There's a
It's
guy
right in
snooping
my
over your
face.
shoulder there, though. You know, I don't know about him.
hey, he's keeping an eye on things.
He's watching everybody. I can see that. Yeah.
So, your timing's pretty impeccable, Chad. I mean, we just had finished watching a little, like a 45-minute clip of a guy shooting the PRS stage.
Oh yeah,
And
it's interesting for sure. So, I don't know what you got in mind to talk about, but if you want, I can kind of tell what got my interest in it.
that and what the object is. Of course, it's to hit the targets at different ranges.
What's the course of fire?
Yeah.
Safety protocols, requirements. Materials needed,
I'm with,
firearms you can use. The whole basics, like you're trying to get your buddy to start doing it, but he doesn't know nothing about it.
explain it to complete new. Okay, so we'll kind of roll back to 2019, I think. I'd started seeing some videos, and I think I stumbled across like a demo ranch video, and I was like, oh wow, there's cool gun videos on YouTube. Started going further into that, and one of them that I saw was a long range video, and for some reason it just clicked when I saw that long range shooting was getting data and applying it correctly, and then getting hits at long range. And I like the math of it. So I got kind of interested, started looking more into it. And then I saw 3-gun. And I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. That's kind of like what I do at work all day, running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, but doing it for fun. So then I went into that, and like 2021, let's see, I guess it was right after the election, I decided I wanted to do 3-gun. So I got an AR and a pistol and a shotgun, and I thought I was all ready to go jump into my first match, and then I found out there was no matches around me. So I kind of focused on the pistol stuff, and I got decently good at that fairly quickly. And then I always knew I wanted to do the long range stuff, but to do it the way I wanted to was going to be fairly expensive. My dad ended up kind of retiring from farming, so he did a pretty good sized farm sale, like all the equipment that he's just not going to use anymore. And he decided he would give all of us kids like more or less an early inheritance, so he could see what we would do with the money. And I said, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting an amp, and I'm going to build a nice PRS rifle. So I dedicated significantly more funds than are necessary, but I know how I go hardcore into everything that I do. So researched for several months and kind of settled on the caliber that I wanted, and chassis and all the different things needed for it. Got it all together and spent a few months learning it, and then went and jumped into my first match. And the first match I saw in person, I was participating in. I think the first time I did any positional shooting was in the match. So I just jumped right into it. And so far, I have not won a match. So that tells me I picked the right thing this time. Like, I think by my 5th pistol match, I was already winning. So I like the additional challenge that goes into this. But it's the there'll be a few stages that'll vary little by little, but for the most part, they are 2-minute stages. And like the local ones here, they're typically 10 shots. Sometimes there's 8, sometimes there's 12. But kind of 10 shots is about the average in 2 minutes. Typically, you'll be holding like anything you want to use for the stage. You'll have in your hands and holding. Once it's your turn to go, you'll get up to the kind of starting line, go ahead and put your mag in. Your bolt will be back the entire match, besides when you're running your stage. And once you let them know you're ready, you got your bag in hand, mags seated, you got your first position dialed on your turrets. You're as ready as you're going to be. Then they'll say time starts now and start the clock. And you just go get set up, whether it's prone or in the positional stage. And like typically the prone stages, you'll get down and there'll be multiple targets. And you'll take 1 to 2 typically shots per target, then move on to the next one. And usually they go in a specific order. Like some of the ones that I showed from the last match, they'll call it a KYL and long. So there'll be like a KYL target at 300 yards, and you start big and work to small. But you start with the biggest, you get a hit there, then you got to go to like a 500 or 600 yard target and engage that. And once you get a hit there, then you can come back to the KYL, go to the next smallest, and engage it until you get your hit, then go back out. So it's a bunch of back and forth changing ranges, all on a clock. So you got to run that in 10 minutes or 2 minutes or your 10 shots. And then the positional stuff is usually fewer targets. So like most of them at our the local matches, they'll be like 2 targets, but you'll have to be in multiple positions. So you get set up in the first position and engage the 2 targets, then move positions, get set up again, come back, engage the first and second, move positions, come back first and second, and go through that whole process for all the targets. So far as like the order of operations, it's kind of like any other match. Like there'll be kind of a agreed upon safe direction where everybody sets their rifles down, barrels are all facing the same direction, your bolt's always open and to the rear, or take it out. Like there's been a couple dusty matches that I learned it's best to take the bolt out of the gun so it's not sitting there getting dust caked onto it as it blows around. I should have learned that before I went out to one match, but these things you kind of pick up as you go. But everybody's bolts open, and mags are kept on your body or away from the gun. And the only time you've got a mag in the gun is when you're about to start the stage. As soon as you get done, you drop your mag, show clear, and then get off the line and police up your brass, and next person gets up and goes. So that's the basics.
Well, that's pretty cool that they give you time to police up your brass.
Yeah, well, now typically, so there'll be however many people in a group, and say I'm shooting, then say my buddy Mark will be coming up behind me. He'll be like in the hole, and then like the 3 or 4 other people, they'll be hanging out, and like one of them will be running the timer, one of them will be spotting, and then somebody will be kind of following behind you if it's a stage where you're moving around a lot, and picking up your brass as you're moving, just to keep the whole thing moving a little quicker. So usually once you get done, dump your stuff and come back up, and then you're picking up brass for the next couple people as they run through on their stage.
It's kind of like the cowboy action does. Everybody helps out.
Yep. The good thing about this is it's mostly all steel targets. So there's not, target resetting, unlike like IDPA and USPS, where you're going through and having to tape up holes and count hits. It's pretty well all steel. So unless something goes wrong with the target, once the match starts, hardly anybody ever goes down range.
Tell us about the rifle you built.
So I guess that'd be another good topic is caliber. So for this, you obviously want something that's not kicking too hard. Typically, like if somebody's got a 6.5 Creedmoor and they want to give it a try, they'll try it with their hunting rifle, but then they'll quickly learn that's not really the best. It's just like any other sport, though, these days. Things get gamified quite a bit. So a lighter recoil rifle that can shoot fast to fight wind is always going to be preferred. Plus, if you get it heavy, then that helps also. Being able to spot misses is one of the skills that you got to pick up as you go. And if you can see your trace through your own scope and spot, where if you're missing and know where you need to correct for your next follow-up shot. But I went with 6 Creedmoor when I was getting started. Like the newer rounds like GT and there's BRA, those seem to be the more popular for the pro level guys, but there's still quite a few run 6 Creedmoor. I picked it because there was factory made match ammunition from like Hornady. I think Sierra Burger has factory loaded ammunition. So I knew I was going to be somewhat overwhelmed getting started, just learning all the basics of how to move and how to set up in a position and all that stuff. So I didn't want to add loading on top of it. Like I think 6 GT and 6 BR, you've got to hand load everything. Like there's not any factory offering. So I did my first couple matches with Hornady match ammo, and then I started getting comfortable with like all the other aspects. So I started loading my own, and that really helped a lot, just being able to have more consistency. But typically the 6mm are the most popular, and you'll see those in the most like pro matches. Almost all of them are running a 6mm. Lighter recoil and zips the bullet along a couple hundred feet per second faster than a 6.5.
You use quite a bit of, I'll say, ancillary equipment.
Yeah.
When you step up there. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other associated gear that you have found that you use consistently that you like? I know you went through about 18,000 bags and
and I still got them all. I like bags. So but the main thing that you pretty well base necessities are going to be a rifle that you can control well, and good scope that you can see out, plan on at least 1,000 to 1,200 yards, and then the data to go along with that. But a good ballistic solver, which, getting started, you can totally download an app and use like the Hornady app. I picked up a Kestrel, but that takes environmental readings plus has the applied ballistics. So it'll do all the math for me within the computer. But you can get by with the app, and a rear bag that you can also use as like a support bag off of props. So the best one that I have found was the Armageddon gear. They call it a medium. It's a little bit smaller than their original big bag, but it is filled with like a heavy sand. They make some other fill products that are easier to carry around, so lighter weight, but they don't like plop down and let the rifle get as stable. Like you can see a considerable difference between a light bag that your rifle's sitting on as your heart's beating. A heavier bag will deaden some of that vibration that you're seeing in the scope. So I got my Armageddon bag but recommended by Ray Helms. I sent him a couple of questions, X-Ring channel, and he shot me back a few answers, and he's like, just plan on getting an Armageddon gear medium with heavy fill, and that's all you need. Well, I got that, and then I thought, surely that's not all I would need. There's all these other cool bags that people make. So I got a little bit of everything, and I mean, over the course of this first year, I've settled on, I think the last match, the only bag I used was that Armageddon gear. Oh, and then one under my arm. So if you can get one that you can like wrap a bungee around your neck so you can keep tucked up under your arm, and that helps quite a bit, just to give that arm something else to do besides try to hold it steady. Because once you got, like, my rifle's about 20 pounds. once you get up and run up to the starting position and get settled down and dropped into place, your heart rate's already getting up. Then by the time you move to the next position, is really getting up. And anything you can do to try and mitigate any body movement is going to be a benefit in the long run.
Nice.
Okay, so I got a ton of questions after
Uh-oh.
that, but it's time for us to call out the side chat. So, Walter, PRS, okay?
PRS, I already had it typed in. Let's go. We fish in the
people
same
type
pond,
in
Jamie.
Do what?
Said we fish in the same pond. I had the exact same idea.
So y'all type in PRS and we'll call your name out on TV. And I do have a mouse because the up arrow still don't work.
You'd think a guy who fixes computers for a living could get a hold of that up arrow and strangle it a little bit and make it work.
I think I've learned enough that they've actually fixed it. Anyway, so we got Walter's in with PRS first. He's on the panel and in the side chat. So is Reloading from the Hot Pipe, CW Longshot. There's Lead Bullet Junkies out there. Good to see you, brother. 6-Shooter Texans on the panel, as well as Hillbilly Up and Pat in a Bunker. And there's Michael Dunn, Edward Petty. Vanessa Kitty is out there. Ashley A. Duffer 426, Colt 1927, Bama Dad. Ricky Baird's out there. Hey, buddy. 2 Live Moo, Walks Fletcher, Old One Guy. Andy 79 Z28's out there. Rollis Carvelis. Mr. Pollard's out there. Ashley A. again. James Pugh. Ron 2A Matters. Trees of Blowing Videos. What's up, my man? Tim S. MCK. Dwayne 7834. Papa's Place. Keith Gregory. Tactical Wabbit 308. James Pugh's out there. Lead Bullet Junkie again. And my M. Gabriel's out there. Tactical Rabbit. Hobbies Hobo. What's up, buddy? Vanessa Kitty. Thorzax. Mr. Dave is out there. DWD37. And I think that's all. So before we get back into PRS, let me welcome Pat in a Bunker. Are you there, Pat?
Yes, sir. I am here. Thanks for having me on tonight. I know it's been a hot minute, but man, I've been busy.
1 second. We got my brother, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog from the great state of Louisiana's out there, and MC is also out there, and John. Hey, John. So how's your week been, Pat?
Oh, not too bad. Just getting ready for another serious round of heat and no rain. And so the irrigation is going like crazy. Got the last bit of my hay put up, and yeah, finally inside, chilling out, cooling down. So glad to be here in my bunker where it's nice and cool.
Well, we're glad you're here, man. We've been missing you, but we know how the farm life works. And Chad, I don't believe you got to say how your week's been, or did you?
My weeks are not much more than this is the earliest I've ever been home. So I guess I should say what I do for work is motorcycle shop parts manager, and we do a trackside support trailer for amateur motocross with Yamaha called the Blue Crew Trackside Support. There's 4 dealers in the country that do this: East, West, North Central, and South Central. My dealership does the South Central region, so we go to all the regional qualifiers for Loretta's, state races, several races we go to with a trailer full of parts to rebuild all their, like the YZ motocross bikes, PW50s. Pretty much if you blow up an engine at a race, we can rebuild it there at the track. But this weekend is starting Loretta Lynn's in Tennessee, which is the amateur. So everybody that qualified from March till I think middle of June is the last qualifiers. But Everybody that qualifies goes to Tennessee this time of year for the amateur national championships. So last week and then Tuesday and Wednesday this week was all full speed, getting everything loaded into the trailer, get it ready to go. And then it pulled out yesterday morning. And so now my Thursday and Friday has been trying to catch up on all the customers that I ignored for the last couple of days. But
that's one thing we have in common
I call it busy.
is the Hurricane Ranch up at
Yep.
just outside of Nashville. So
Yep.
I want to take a second and welcome everybody that's in the side chat. So guys, y'all are y'all the reason we do this, and we hope y'all are finding the competition shooting series interesting because we're having fun doing it. So Thorzak's asking you, do you have vintage bike parts, Chad?
Oh, yeah. I was just writing it out there. I just caught that. But most of what we do is like new unit sales and so to give an idea, I am a Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, KTM, Husqvarna, Polaris. Right. Well, I've got like 3 or 4 like lawnmower power equipment lines, and then a couple little small brands of little things that we sell. But all in all, 14, 15 like product lines that we sell, then all the aftermarket stuff that goes along with them. Plus, we have a second store in Lawton that also carries Suzuki and Can-Am, so have almost everything covered except for Harley and a few others. But for the most part, I deal with almost every brand and mostly on the new unit sales. We've got some random older parts, but we're not really a vintage, like specialized place. I know there used to be a place called like, I think something like J Silver. There was a place that used to go around and like buy up all the old stock from dealerships, and then they would just sell it online. And there's still places out there to do some of that, but it's getting harder and harder to find anything. Really, the cutoff year, the magic number in the motorsports world is 15 years. So I've already got like 4-wheelers and dirt bikes that are 15 years old that parts are discontinued for. So it gets tricky because most of them are still run good if people take care of them, but then you can't get parts when they do eventually break. So it keeps me busy chasing stuff down for a little bit of everything. Every day is a little bit different. People can break the strangest things.
Yeah, Thorzak's has a vintage BMW.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I guess I should say, so like the European brands, about the only ones we deal with are KTM and Husqvarna, and we have Gas now at our other stores. So, but like BMW, Triumph, and stuff like that, I don't have a good source for stuff for that. There's a couple aftermarket things that I can get, but for the most part, that's out of the realm of what I have good access to.
And Big Al's got a 75 Honda CB 360T.
Hey, we got a couple guys in town they'll rebuild a couple of the old, like the Trail 90s, and I think they probably bought some of the last parts that Honda had available. And I got a shop in Kansas that still rebuilds Honda 250R 2-stroke ATVs from the 80s, and like they're getting harder to find parts, but they get custom cranks made and cylinders, and they usually just get gaskets from me for them. But they do a lot of high performance stuff for the ATVs, and the 250R is still popular if you can find them in decent shape. But
so Michael Dunn's got a question for you.
Yeah. So typically 60 to 80, depends on how big of a match they're going to make it. At least on these local ones, I should stipulate that. Give me 1 second. I forgot I was going to grab this before we got started.
Remember, we can't show any firearms, Chad.
Oh yeah, no papers. So I actually kept all of my my matchbooks. So all of these papers are, when we get there for the day, they'll write out what each of the stages is. And so this match, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 stages, and there'll either be 8 or 10 shots. So, if you plan on 60 to 80 rounds, most of them are around 70 to 80. Now, you might not get all those off, but if you plan for 80, you're usually in pretty good shape. Now, the bigger, like the official sanctioned PRS matches, which is the next big thing I'm going to try to do, typically those are 120 to 150, but they're like 14 to 16 stages, I think, in a match. And some of them are 2 days.
Far out.
But actually, that might be kind of a good a good example of like kind of what they do on some of these stages. Like this one here that I kind of like at the second range that we go to. Like one of the stages is called Road Hunter. There's an old like F-150, I think, junker truck, but the hood's still on it. So you start standing up and you run up to it and get set up on the hood, and you've got 2 minutes to get 2 shots on a rabbit at 348, then a squirrel at 315, then another rabbit out at 367, then a bobcat at 420, and then a pig at 615. And the other thing, like not all these targets are like straight in a line. So you may start facing one here, and then your second target's like 40 degrees to the left, and then your third target will be like 90 degrees to the right, and then your fourth target will be coming back towards the center. So it's a lot of changing direction and distance all on the clock. The clock is what makes it especially tricky. Like practicing this stuff it seems fairly easy, but as soon as the actual timer starts, like my heart's beating so much harder than it ever does when I'm practicing. And it definitely adds a difficulty level to it.
Yeah, that's the same phenomenon or close to it as buck fever.
Yep. And that's kind of the idea of what spawned out of the PRS is what they call the NRL Hunter Series. And that's kind of the same overall idea, but you usually have a little more time and all the stages are blind. So that's the one match that I did really terrible at. So you're starting like from a position where you can't see any of the targets, and they'll start time and say you may have 3 or 4 minutes, but you've got to come up to the position and then set up like your tripod, get your binoculars out, scan. They'll give you like a left and right area, and they'll tell you you've got like 3 targets in between these 2 posts, and you've got to scan through and find the targets, range them, and then use that data to get your scope adjustments, and then move on, find the next one, and hope that you range them right, and then move up to the firing position and engage all the targets all in the time limit. Typically those have like I think it's a 12 or 14 pound weight limit for the rifle. It might even be less than that now that I'm thinking about it. They got a couple different classes, but and there's a power factor, kind of like pistol matches where you can't shoot something that's too low recoil. You've got to use something that would be more of a hunting caliber, like 6.5 Creedmoor is about the lowest that most people will go when they're doing those hunter matches. But it just adds in the additional step of finding the targets and getting all your dope collected while you're on the clock.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. That
Yeah,
might be right up my alley.
It's really cool. But like my rifle is not set up for it. They've got one class where you can run more of a PRS rifle. There's not the weight limit thing. But man, I was dragging after like the second round or the second stage at that one. I was feeling it. It was May. It was already in the 90s, and I think we were having 20, 22-mile-an-hour winds that day. And half the time, I wasn't even sure if I was finding the right targets. Like, they don't help you very much. They'll just tell you, like, you've got a pig and a deer and a squirrel. And they don't tell you, how far they are, nothing like that. And from some stages, you can see other targets depending on how big the range area is. But, for some stages, I don't even think I ranged the right targets, but I just keep running with it. That was definitely the hardest one that I've done so far. But it was also a lot of things that I had not practiced ever before. So
you can use the rangefinder?
Yeah. So I use Vortex, their Fury binoculars that have the rangefinder built into them. So as I'm scanning, if I find it, I just got to get it stable enough and not jiggle, and then hit the button and range that target. And I actually had mine set up so when I would range the target, it would send the info to my Kestrel, and then and then it would display in the binoculars what each adjustment was. So I had my dope card in my pocket, and when I would range it, it'd pop up the distance and then take a couple seconds, and then it would change screens and show me like 2.6 up and 0.4 right. So then I'd jot that down real quick and then get back and find the next target, range it, and get the data, write them all down, then snap it onto my rifle and jump up into position. So
Wow, that's some high tech shooting right there, boy.
yeah, and over the course of doing this, I went from having just a bubble level on my scope to that electronic one. So when you're down and you're looking through the scope with your dominant eye, like I can just keep my other eye open and I can see flashing lights and let me know if I'm green, I'm good and level. If it's red or blue and I know I'm off a little bit left or right canted, and get adjusted when I can see the green out of this eye and my dot's where I want it to be, boom, break the shot.
Wow.
It's kind of my whole approach this first year was just jump in and screw everything up, just survive the first match, and then I'd have a better idea of what I needed to work on. And then second match I was more comfortable, so I went through the whole process better. But that's when I started realizing that I was doing some things wrong. So I would try to pick one or two things that I did the worst at that match, and then work the most on those in the month between till the next one, and then try to do better at that one or two skills at the next match. And then by the last one, I did end up finally having like my best overall score. So I was pretty happy with it. Yeah, 5th out of 11. So yeah, so this last match was the biggest, like so far as stages quantity wise. So there was 79 maximum shots that you could have taken, and I took 65 of the shots, but I only got 43 hits, which I mean better than most. There's some stages there were some people that were getting zeros and ones or twos, but for the most part, I did pretty good. There was one stage that there was kind of a technical error on, and I was not very happy about that, but I didn't know what to do in the situation, so I just sat there and kept asking, am I good to go? Am I good to go? Like, I said, okay, there's another thing. So reading the paper is very important because there'll be certain stages that you have to hit the target before moving on to the next one. And then the next target or the next stage could be you're taking 2 shots at each target, hit or miss, you move on. Like that took me a while to learn because I'd been doing pistol, which is, best 2 shots count. So if you take your 2 shots and then you get up and see that you missed outside of the down 0 in the middle, you can re-engage. At this, you can't. So the first match, I was going to keep going, taking my 3rd and 4th shots at the first target that I missed, And then they were like, no, you got to move on. You got to move on. That's a hit or miss. You got to go. So, but then there's other stages where you can't move on to the next target until you get a hit. But it's a lot of thinking that goes into it. You got to pay attention to quite a few different moving pieces all at the same time.
So quickly, we got G23 showed up out there, and I'm sure some more fun guys out there. Michael Dunn's out there. Mark Thomas has joined us on the panel. How was your week, bud?
Sorry, don't Bubba. Pretty darn good. We've been just kind of hanging out here, enjoying the summer. I've been getting some leather work done, a little bit of reloading, and just generally getting rested up.
Well, we're glad you're here, man. You got any PRS type questions?
No. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Been trying to check in there with the side chat while I was listening. Great to see you, Chad. Nice to have you on tonight.
Good to see you as well. I think the first time semi in person.
Yeah.
But we got a question from Big Al out there. Do you have red light hits? In other words, is there a detector on your targets? I think is what he's talking about. They have spotters,
No.
From what I've seen.
Yeah. They're officially there'll be one person that's running the time, and typically that person is marking out whoever is calling the hits, and then you'll have another person on a spotting scope, focused in on the target you're supposed to be engaging, and that's who's supposed to call the hits, which is kind of what at the last match there's a stage called Chaos, so it's only 1 minute, and you've got to go. Let me see, tell you real quick. You got to start standing up, and you got 60 seconds to get down into a prone position and engage a 375, 475, and 575 target. But you have to hit to move on, and once you go like 375, 475, 575, then you come back to 475, back to 375, back to 4. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. But with the stipulation of hit to move on. So I got down and, first shot, got a hit, moved to the second one, got a hit, moved to the third one, and I missed. I saw the, dirt splash up behind it and made a little adjustment, came back down and fired my fourth shot and got a hit. Like I saw the splatter of the bullet. I saw the dust on the side of the target. So I knew I got a hit, but it did not, you couldn't hear it. And nobody called impact. So I had already, I knew I got it. So I'd already adjusted my scope for the second one and was come back, and I was sitting there and I still didn't hear impact. So I was like, hey, did y'all see I hit the third one? And they're like, it was kind of nobody would answer very quickly. And by the time somebody said, oh yeah, you did hit that one, huh? Okay, impact. And the time was over. So only got 3 scored on that one, but I could have got quite a bit more. But I didn't know what the proper procedure was. Actually, when I was editing the video, I had my trigger cam on, and you could see on that fourth shot, you see the dust fly up on the side of it, and it definitely was an impact, but you couldn't hear anything. And so he may have looked away right at the time when I took my shot, and the spotter guy missed. So mistakes do happen. As one reason I just picked these up, I'm going to bring these to some of these next matches. I got a 2-pack, and they're really bright, so I picked up this 5-pack also. So some of the targets that are, sometimes it doesn't matter how you set them up. There's some that you just can't hear. So I'm going to bring these to the matches, and if they want to try using them, we can throw them on some of them. But they're definitely a good thing to have, but not all this is the group I'm doing these with is more like a local club. It's these 3 ranges are cow pastures besides the 1 day a month that they're used for matches. So
I thought when you said you got something, I thought it was going to be a pair of glasses for your spotter.
oh, yeah. that would help. But having a big bright red flash pop up, those little Hornady ones are pretty convenient. They're real small and they flash really, really bright. So
That's a cool thing. All right, so I think we're going to take a break right here, and if Gene's ready, we might do. You ready, man?
Yep, I can be in just a second.
Good. I hope we have a little bit more time, a little bit to come back. I still got more questions, and I watched every one of Chad's videos. I still don't get it.
Yeah, we need to know what bullet weight. We want your recipe for your hand load.
okay. Hey, I'll give y'all the first preview. So I'm adding one more thing to the mix here. So with this alpha brass, I'm going to finally get the mandrel die set up and add that one extra step to try and get more precision. So
It'll help a lot.
yeah, I have been doing good, but this last loading of my Lapua, I started noticing some less than superbly feeling seats. So
Remember to take
the best way from the beginning.
take the decapping pin button off.
Oh yeah,
Shoot yourself in the foot.
I got the L.E. Wilson mandrel die and mandrels because he told me to.
hey, I got Ellie Wilson, good stuff. And I wanted to give this a try, so I'm gonna give that new Alpha case lube a test. But I got several Ellie Wilson case gauges.
All right. Say when, Gene.
Go for it, brother.
It's time for White's Hot Pot Got.
Hot Pot's got something for the occasion tonight. Hot Pot found coming through the machine. Focus. Wow. Man, I hate this camera. It focused earlier. Here, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to fight this camera anymore. This is a piece of 6mm BR brass. I'm going to tell you a little bit of story about it. I found on a 6mmBR.com forum. Long popular in Europe, in the past few years, the 6mm BR cartridge has become more and widely adopted by North American shooters. It's easy to understand why. The 6BR is superbly accurate, very effective, and very versatile. The 6BR can set world records at 600 yards and even 1,000. Yet it's easy to tune and just as well suited for a long day in the varmint fields. They've been chambering this. They chamber this in Lapua and Norma brass. Have a fantastic selection of short and long range match bullets. Can be very accurate, as little to 100 to 200 yards, but shines at 300 to 600 yards. The extra capacity in the case gives it a definite advantage over some of the other 6mm offerings that are out there, and does dominate the 300-meter competition. And thanks to shooter like Terry Brady, the 6BR holds many of the 600-yard BR records. So this is actually, the parent case to this is a .308 Winchester. I wish I could get focus on this camera. It don't like me today. It don't like me every day. Keep saying I'll stop using it, and I don't. But this cartridge here is widely used with bench rest shooters and PRS shooters, as Chad was saying. So I pulled this out tonight just for the occasion. And it's a really cool little bottleneck cartridge.
Yeah,
You got anything to throw in, CW?
No, it's like I said, backstage. It's one of probably a good 8 or 10 that are ballistic twins. They changed the neck length, they changed the body taper, changed the shoulder. Just minor changes. There's basically 2 cases that they use. They use that, the Russian 220, which is a 440 case, and the 308 case, which is a 473 case. And people are just coming out with these like crazy. Like Chad said, it's a dominating diameter, and it's just everybody wants their own. And there's a number of them that are almost identical with different names because different people come up with the same idea. So it's almost confusing,
Yeah, this particular one was actually designed in 1962 to 1963.
Yeah, the BRs are our older ones.
Yeah, it went commercial in 78. And it's a nice little cartridge.
What's the length, Gene?
Case length is 1.560. Bullet diameter 243. Now it's going to depend. Your overall length is depending on which your bullets you're going to use and your rifle naturally.
Yeah.
So overall length is going to come into play with that. But the case length is 1.560.
It should be 2 1/4 to 2 1/2 because those 6mm bullets are typically rather long. Wouldn't it? Am I thinking straight about that? CW and 6.
Well, when they get in the long for caliber ones, the ones above 100 grains, they get pretty long. But there's the Dasher is the one that a lot of people know. XC is another one that's fairly popular. GT,
yep.
Yeah, and the BR you mentioned. There's a BRX, there's a BRC, CM, a CMR. There's so many. It's crazy. And it's because of the popularity of that cartridge, what it does, how efficient it is, and the whole thing is efficiency, speed is speed enough, and you don't black out the scope because of the recoil. You can watch your hits, your impacts, and that's huge.
Yeah, and then another good part about this, it uses small rifle primers, so it's not going to break the bank on buying primers.
Yeah.
But that is what Hot Pot's got. Thank you, CW and Chad, for the input on this. I thought this would be nice for the occasion.
Excellent. Golf clap. Big Al, I don't think any of those cartridges would tumble, man. You're looking at a long bullet with high ballistic coefficient, so I think they'll run fairly stable.
And a lot of powder in that little case.
6 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
What weight is that bullet?
So this is the 108 Hornady match. And
ELD?
that's ELD match. But long and I don't know. I've had good luck with them so far. I've got like some Burgers and some Sierra 107s, but I started with these and they work pretty well. Also, I do get all of my brass in small primer. The Hornady factory stuff is large primer, but the Alpha brass and the Lapua brass seems to be a better overall quality, at least for making good, consistent match ammo. So I've tested with the Lapua. I had good luck with my first couple of tests with the Alpha, so I bought a second box because ideally, when I go to the more pro level matches, it's going to be more than 100 shots. So I wanted to have at least 200 of the exact same cases instead of trying to do 100 Lapuas and 100 Alphas and mix those into one match. I want to make sure I have more than enough of the exact same brass. So, I mean, everything can be the exact same.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the bullet I use. Those guys right there. And I have found, I don't know how deep into reloading stuff you guys like getting, but when you get ammo, pay attention to that number right there on the bottom that says lot number. Just in the bullets that I have picked up getting into this, I found ranges from like 691 the from the base to the O drive. 691 to 697 is kind of the majority, but I've got some that were like 704s. So a considerable difference from a different lot number. And that's going to obviously affect your seating depth. So one thing that I got into doing is I picked up this tray from Creedmoor. So I'll go through a new box and I'll kind of sort them all within a 2000ths range. So like 692s and 693s, and then, or that's maybe, I should look at what I got written down. I don't remember my last go through. So like 691 and 92, and then that was the majority was 93s and 94s, 95s and 96s, and then the longer 97s, and if there's any 98s. So I'll go through a whole box and sort them all out, and then whichever one has the most, that's the one I start loading first. And then when I run out of that one, I'll know, make 2 clicks adjustment on my seating die and move on to the next size and just keep on going. But that does make a difference, at least in my head it does. So I focus on numbers a lot. So any numbers that I can try and be in somewhat control of, that helps me just not to worry about it. So I go through a lot of additional effort that's probably not necessary, but it makes me feel better. So
Yeah. And
little OCD never hurt anything.
right.
yeah, I have a lot of that.
And
I have a whole lot.
I was being nice.
Yeah. I'm like way too OCD, but when it's something that I want to focus on, then I go way into it in every possible detail. And then if it's something I don't have any interest in, then I don't care. Like I really don't care that much about like cleaning my house, so I don't like my work at work is just a complete disaster mess all the time because I'm always getting interrupted for stuff. So I got to prioritize how I spend my time, and cleaning is like the lowest thing on there. So every couple of weeks I'll go through and I'm like, oh, okay, I got to get this cleaned up and make it more presentable. But I rather spend my time sorting bullets, I guess.
you may be interested to know that Mid-South Shooter Supply is running a sale right now on bulk bullets.
Yeah, their match burners have been shooting good.
And I'm not seeing any 243s, but that don't mean they don't have them. Yeah, here's the 105 match. It's not the ELD. It's the regular match. 250 of them for $69. But if you got on Mid-South and looked, you could probably find the I don't know that they sell bulk ELDs. I think you just got to
Well,
buy 100 at a time, but I'll find out.
let me see. I could show you what the closest to bulk that I could find was. Oh, there it is. This was an order from Powder Valley, and that was bulk. I ordered a 500, and they just come in 5 100 round boxes. But I know they're all going to be the same lot number, so that makes it a little easier in the long run.
Yeah, it does.
And then you also got to buy the big jug. So far, I've had good luck with this stuff. Some people have suggested some other powders to try, but that's a lot more work to get it all up and going.
That's my go-to for 6.5 Creedmoor at 1,000 yards.
It's seems to be good. Well, I don't have any complaints about it, so I'm like, why would I keep hunting down different powders and doing more tests when that's doing the job that I needed to do? So
yeah, I was working on that 35 Remington series, and I got a clover leaf at 50 yards, and Kyle says, "Just stop, man. That's good enough. It's a deer hunting round. Just stop."
yeah, I mean, so that's a group that I'm not happy with. If that, and then
You blow that up, Jamie.
that was I think this one was a 10 shots, and that one was 5, but I wasn't happy with that 5-round group. But for 10 shots for that little guy, I'll take that.
Yeah, that's decent.
Ate it up enough that I can see through it. But those were just my first couple tests. I think I'm going to try a little more powder testing with the Alpha Brass, but my second test load came out pretty good. So I don't know. I think you reach a point where something looks really good, and you're like, man, is it worth it to keep going and find worse stuff and waste the components? Or I don't know. I guess that's the forever conundrum of this game.
Well, just remember
Yeah,
what
Jack.
Kenny Rogers says. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yeah. Like I was telling over there, so, for bench rest and F class, you're scored by X's. So you want to have as tight a group as possible. But like for me, a 10-inch plate at 600 yards, if I peg it in the center, it scores the same as if I hit it on one of the edges. So extremely perfect shooting tight groups are not the most required, but more you want to group well enough that you can predict reliably where your round's going to go. So that's the main reason to get a good, like a good grouping loading.
Yeah, Scotsman's right. Man's got to know his limitations. Let's do this right here, right quick. Jerry Lahane, welcome, buddy. You're welcome in here as long as you're not trolling.
Chad, with your group that you shoot with, what's the longest range that they'll put in a stage in one of your matches?
Well, the second, the second range is 1120.
Oh boy. Okay.
I thought he had a 12. Yeah. So like there's 2 troop lines where you're kind of going just out, extending the distance with each shot, but it's Like one of them 500, 600, 700, 820, and 1120. And then the next one's 450, 550, 702, 936, and 1010.
Boy.
I would say the vast majority are 320 to 700 is probably going to cover 70 to 80% of the targets. But there'll be some that are going to push it out further. Like at the last round here, they've got one at 1,050. And that one, like we had to go left one there. Like you have to go at a 400-yard target and hit or miss, go to the 1,050 target, hit or miss, come back to the 400. So that's a considerable. That's like on my scope, it was 1.6 and then dial up to 8.3 and then dial down to 1.6 and back up to 8.3 and just do that one shot on each for all 10 shots. That was the one where my glasses were messing with me, and I wasted the first minute till I decided to just chunk my glasses off. So I only took 5 shots on that stage, but I got 4 hits. So that's the other thing. So that would be a good thing to cover. It's better to take fewer shots that are good shots than to try and take all of the shots. So like my first couple matches, I was trying to just shoot all the shots and, missing quite a few of them. But when I would slow down and like on that one, max score would have been 10, but I had an issue. So I knew I wasted a bunch of time. So I was making sure each shot that I took was going to count. So I had a couple where I would only miss 1 or 2. I might not have got all 10 of the shots off, but all the shots that I did take were typically going to be counted for score.
So, any of you guys got any questions? Six, Gene, Mark.
He has pretty much answered everything I wanted to ask.
Cool.
He's explained all of it right along with what I want to ask.
Did you answer the question? How many matches a year?
Oh, no, I did see that. So this group, we do 10. So we start in September and do them once a month. And then from what I understand, typically they take off July and August. But I guess this year there was quite a few people out of town in June. So instead of having the last match in June, they just delayed it and had it in July. So we took off June and August. So come September, we'll do one September. And I mean, we did them in December, January, February. Those were very cold and painful. And then around here by May, it's already in the 90s. So I think at this last match, it was 102 by the time we got to the last couple stages. And it's very, very bright and hot. But around here, usually the worst summer months are July and August. So they try to take those off because it's brutal outside for hours and hours and hours.
And you're in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah, Southwest. So wind and like summers are very hot and winters are very cold, but we don't get much snow, but we do have a lot of cold wind. And then we have a bunch of hot wind, which is almost as painful. Hot wind really sucks. But so
I think that hot wind blows up from out Texas.
yeah, we send a lot of it up this way. But like the thing I like about this group is that they do matches on Sunday. So being in the motorcycle industry, like I'm from what I understand, goes back to like the 80s when motocross races were big, and a lot of people that worked at dealerships also raced. Most of those races were on Sundays, and typically the idea is motorcycle shop, you go ride Sunday, kind of recover on Monday, and then work Tuesday through Saturday. So I always have Sundays and Mondays off because that's when we're closed. But like the official PRS matches, they're on Saturdays. So I have to convince myself to take a day off to go do there's one, it's a town's called Ninica. It's kind of a weird name, but it's only about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half from me. And they do the regional qualifiers for the PRS. I mean, it's a big pro side of it. They got I think the way I understand it on the pro side is you buy your PRS membership. I think it's like $100 a year. And then when you do that, you can also buy a chance to compete in what they call the AG Cup, the Armageddon Gear Cup. They put up like $50,000 or $100,000 prize money, and you have to qualify at a regional to go to the AG Cup match, and then it's paid out like 30,000, I think, for first place. It's a considerable prize money for rifle matches. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'll buy some bullets.
Yeah. I'll see if I can hop in here real quick. Yeah, memberships and rewards. But to do that, you have to, a pro membership is $105 a year. And then, like for me, I'll probably just start doing the regional stuff. So that's $55 a year. And then the AG Cup. Okay, so yeah, never mind. I got to take that back. So the AG Cup series and a pro membership is $1,000 combined. If you just try to get the AG Cup, that's a $900 a year membership. But $750 of that goes into the purse money for that match. So it's an all year qualifying kind of thing, and then a big payout for whoever wins that.
Yeah, so if I may be so bold as to interrupt, Hillbilly, are you there, man?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk for a minute about the fundraiser for Scotsman.
Oh yeah, you bet, buddy. Can you give me 1 second? I left my book in the other room. That's got the giveaways on it. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
I'll start. We're going to be giving away some bullets. Yeah, I said it. We're going to do a reloading package, and we will tailor what's in that package depending on who wins and what they want or what they need. And me, CW6, and Walter will be doing this. And Gene's got his own thing going over there, don't you, Gene?
Yes, sir, I do.
We need to congratulate Gene on 5,000 subscribers. He's doing a giveaway and doing something for Scotsman. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, I'm going to do a 2-package giveaway, and there's going to be a $10 entry fee per entry. So if you want to donate 20, you get 2 entries. $10 per entry, and you can choose between the reloaders package and the shooters package. So the video will be out this weekend. I got it up in editing right now. I got it in queue to edit. So I'll get that put out there, and you'll get to see what's in each package and which one you would like to donate for to win. And all the proceeds, 100%, will go to Scotsman.
Very cool.
Probably what I'll end up doing is I'll say in the video how I'll accept the donations for the entries, but I'm probably going to just go ahead and send everything over to Hillbilly's way. That way it adds to the sum for what he's giving. Instead of trying to separate it all out and me sending it and this and that, I figured I would just send it to Hillbilly up there and let him put that in on the entire package.
Yeah, or at least we can do, make sure we get the total. So that's awesome, Dean. That is awesome. And also, Georgia Shooting Connection. What you guys are doing is great too. Yeah. So if you hadn't heard, we're raising some funds for the weasel. Yep. Hashtag Heal the Weasel. And always the guy that is very first one sneaking around. He knows, finds out somebody's their family or something, they're having some troubles. He's always the one that says, "Hey, this family's in trouble. We need to help them." And so he does so much for everybody. And now he uh, needs a little bit of a hand up, and we're not going to set aside. And we're going to make sure we give him the hand up that he needs. So we're looking to raise a minimum, guys. This is just a minimum. This is just a starter here of $2,000, and if we raise that, then just because I think this is one of Scotsman's favorite things for me to do, because he's always razzing me about it. I am going to drink a hard seltzer again, doggone it, on the show night of the giveaway, and I think we got Con Gizzard Gary into doing it, and maybe another person we don't know for sure, but yeah. So that's going to be
hillbilly.
Yeah,
Hillbilly. I'm going to interrupt you on this because it's just awful suspicious that you're willing to drink another one.
I'm not willing. Put it this way. When
you keep putting it out there though that you'll drink a hard seltzer for this, you'll drink a hard seltzer for that. I'm starting to think maybe you might be growing fond of them.
Well, that's only the second. I've only done it twice, and so this will be the third time. When I talked to Scotsman about this, he's like, no, I don't want it. I'm fine. and I'm like, bro, you're not working, you got bills due, and medical bills and all that. And so kind of when I said, well, what if I drink a hard seltzer, he kind of had that little girl giggle. So I think that was his acceptance to okay, yeah. And so anyway, we have a lot of prizes, guys. There's been fellow, and when I say fellow, I mean everybody. There's been YouTubers and others that has sponsored some prizes. We got a couple of companies that sponsored some prizes, and there's some more. From what I understand on some emails, I think there might be a few more prizes coming in. And so what these prizes are for is if you donate towards Scotsman, and then you will be eligible in a drawing to win some of this. Now, you do have to be live during the Guns Bearing Therapy, because we're going to do this to where we're kind of going to split a few things up, but you'll be having an option to choose what you want, what prize you want, if you are the winner right then. And so that's another reason why we need to do it live. And plus, it's just so much easier for contact information and everything. But let me call out some of these. We're getting a Burris scope from Scotsman. It's an E1 4.5 by 14 by 42, and that does come with rings. We got Tactical FUD, giving a $50 gift card, and you can choose to use that at Midway or Brown Hills. We got Heisei Channel. He's giving away a Garmin chronograph with the internal and external bag. That got delivered yesterday to the house here, and and I'm like, wow, this is really sweet. And so anyway, we got Brownworks. They are giving away on their custom pistol stands here, and this says 1776 on it. The Second Amendment. This is awesome. Nice woodwork, live edge. I mean, beautiful pistol stand. See, we have Hasbro. He is throwing in well, I have pictures of some of this stuff. A cold tack flat bag, and Hasbro made a 3D printed adapter that goes from that up to a Arca clamp, and so like it fits right on the bottom of your rifle and stuff. It's really cool. He has a video out showing that and everything. We have Discovery Optics. They are giving away scope and mount, and it is a 3x9 variable. Just like this one right here. Nice clear scope. I'm definitely going to be putting this on one of my deer rifles. For what I need from around here, 3x9 would be great. So anyway, they're not this one. This one's mine. It's a used one. They'll be giving a brand new one out. Mark Thomas has given away 2 really, really cool holsters. He made these. He did some great print on. They're absolutely beautiful. You can see them on Mark's channel. One is for a 1911, and one is for a single action army. That's correct, right, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have somebody that's anonymous that's going to be giving away a brand new scope, and I'll have the model and details and name of that scope here hopefully really soon. We have Garage Guy. He's giving away some knives. He showed me last Saturday or whatever some really cool knives. We have CB Life. They're going to be giving away a 28 8-inch soft case for pistol, rifle, or whatever. It's really nice. The only problem I have with that is they're going to make me do a review on it. I mean, before, and then you'll be getting that one, but it'll still be brand new. I'll just be doing a review on it. I tried to get them to send it straight to the winter, and they're like, nah, we need a review. So anyway, we got Georgia Shooting Connection with the reloader stuff. Another awesome giveaway. Ron Wayne, he sent some pictures to me last night of a Buck Knives collector set. It's 2 Buck Knives and a 10. It's really, really nice. And so that's kind of what we have so far. But I do, from what I understand, there might be some more stuff coming in.
You got my stuff, didn't you, Clint?
What did I miss? What is that, CW? What did I miss? Write down.
Bushnell 6 to 18 scope with mounts.
Oh, yeah. Doggone it. I forgot to write that down. Yes. Sorry about that, buddy. When I got that text, I was outside and I was going to write down on my book here and I forgot about it. So sorry about that. Yes, he's going to be giving away a Bushnell scope. And that's going to be awesome. So I think that did as of right now, unless I'm missing something, but a lot of great giveaways, guys. I mean, and we're still a little ways away from our minimum of $2,000. And if you are interested in donating, of course, you go to Gene's channel. There's a deal over there. He's got going. That money's going to Scotsman too. So awesome. Appreciate you doing that, Gene. Or you can email me at AmericanHillbillyUp at gmail.com, and then I can let you know however you want to send it. We got Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or if you just want to mail a check or money order. So anyway, I think we got you covered in pretty much every direction if you do want to help out. So
Very good, very good. 1 second. Walter,
Are we ready?
count us
Here we
down.
go. On 3, 2, 1. Hey, I am Mario, buddy.
Mario.
I'm glad to see Mario, and I'm glad to see our buddy brain fart, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldogs out there, and we are late for the verse of the week. Are y'all ready to do the verse of the week?
Make it happen, number one.
We'll have to go through this pretty good. Well, y'all remember week before last we talked about the golden rule. Whatever you want men to do to you, you do to them. Then the last week, we talked about verses 13 and 14, where it says, narrow is gate, enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. So this week we have an actual warning from Jesus, and we're closing out the Sermon on the Mount. We only got about 3 or 4 more weeks left, so we'll have to find something else then. But starting in verse 15, we read, this is Matthew chapter 7, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Verse 16, you will know them by their fruits. Do men gather groups from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. So let's go back up here and dig into this first verse right here just for a second. Beware of false prophets. And a prophet back then was someone who forecasted events that would happen into the future. And you would know that if a prophet was false or not by if what they prophesied actually happened or not. But we get into Jesus's day, and certainly in the modern day now, it's more like we're talking about false teachers. And when I read this, the first thing that popped up into my mind was all of those rich TV preachers that are being exposed for what they really are right now. That's not of God, y'all. So be careful about it. There's a reason he says beware, and we'll get to that in just a second. Who come in sheep's clothing. In other words, they're going to look like one of you. They're going to look like one of us. So we go back to Jesus, and I think it's chapter 10 or chapter 12. Jesus is talking about he's the good shepherd. I can't remember exactly, but that's in John's gospel. So they're going to be coming in sheep's clothing, but then that last phrase there, inwardly they are ravenous wolves. What we see here is ravenous. They're starving to death. They're starving to death for stuff that they can gain off the sheep. In other words, they're impersonating a sheep because they are ravenous. They're greedy. They're hungry. They're looking for their own gain in one way or another. And the wolf is the natural enemy of the sheep. So there's a lot going on right there in that one sentence if you unpack that correctly. And then we go to verse 16 and 17 here. It's pretty self-explanatory. You'll know them by their fruits. Remember back at the beginning of chapter 7, where we read Jesus was telling us by the way we judge is how we will be judged. We're talking about a total different thing here. We're not talking about judging. We're talking about seeing a person's fruit and realizing who they really are and what they're really after. So you're not going to gather grapes from a thorn bush or figs from a thistle. Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. And we're going to stop right there because the next verse, couple of verses here, go hand in hand with that like a hand in a glove. So, questions or comments, guys?
Like you said, Jamie, this one's pretty simple. You want to know whether a person is a good person or a bad person. Look at their fruit. What are they really doing? To say one thing and then not do anything about it, or to say one thing and do something else. If this person says what they're going to do and then does it, and what he does is good, then that's probably a good person.
Yeah. And there's a reason he's telling us to beware, because he don't want us taking advantage of.
Right.
Anybody else? Questions or comments about the verse of the week?
Wonder if he knew about phone scams and all that other kind of stuff that's been going on here lately, because it sure fits in here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, my first thought was, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gene.
I think it's me. I was just going to say, I was always told not to go around looking at other people's fruits, Walter. So,
Yeah, there's a fine line between a fruit inspector and a judge.
Yeah.
That's why in CMA I always taught them, I said, don't. When you're going through at the end of the meeting, they get praise and prayer requests, and I was always like, don't call their name and ask them to expand on their prayer request. You're turning into a gossip. And besides, if you do that, we're going to be another hour getting out of here. Just let it be concise and to the point, and don't turn prayer requests into a gossip session, and we can go home. Okay? I know I shouldn't be like that.
that's what I always say about. Go ahead, Walker. I'm sorry.
He'd gotten a dozen phone calls about his car's warranty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. While we got Link up here, that's good, Link. And he's talking about consistency. So
If you don't know who Link is, he was on Guns and Bear Therapy last Saturday.
Well, I have an announcement to make. If the guys approve next week, and this is so cool because it's going to piggyback right off of what Chad's talking about tonight. Link's coming on Georgia Shooting Connection next Friday night.
Woo!
To show us his discovery line of optics. And Link, if you're watching out there, your email asked if to fill you in on a topic. You're the topic, buddy. Okay. You and Discovery Optics will be our main topic, and of course we'll have our other segments. We'll go through the side chat at 8:30 and watch Hot Bike Guide at 9, verse of the week at 9:30. But it sounds like by those comments Link made that he's a believer, so that really excites me.
Yeah.
And while it's still on my mind, Chad has he owns a couple of the prizes that Hillbilly's giving away, and then I got a comment for Hillbilly, so we're going to let him show those off if that's okay.
I didn't see if you showed off so a Garmin is, I mean, pretty excellent. Typically they'll come with just the chrono itself. This is the mounting plate that I got to actually run it on my rifle. But this has been a very, very good performing chronograph. So anybody that wins that would be more than excited. And then I actually have a Coltac flat bag. This one's a little too full, which is one of the first bags I got before I learned you got to take some of the fill out so that they kind of flow over stuff instead of sitting around it like that. And then that's one of the plates that has Hasbro prints, and that lets you mount a Arca plate or any other kind of plate you want to on it. But you got some mounting positions, mount a plate on, and you can print it on to an Arca rifle. And the bag attached to Coltac stuff always lightweight.
Hey!
sounds like some good prizes in the mix here.
Yeah, that Garmin's a prize. That's a big one. It's going to be really nice for somebody.
Sir.
Yeah.
That's definitely grand prize worthy.
Hmm.
And then you can go to Coltac and show them your support and get a little case for your Garmin also. It doesn't hold the Area 419 mount and zip up all the way, but it does hold the tripod that comes with it, and gives you an extra little sleeve if you got any data that you want to keep with your Garmin. But pick that up from Coltac. Coltac and Armageddon Gear are probably the two best for making products like fabric type stuff like that. So.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry. This is Hasbro's. This is the Coltac flatbed, and he made that mount, 3D printed all that.
Yep.
To go onto the Arca rail. So another quick look at the Coltac flat bag. Oh, you just want to say flatbed.
I gotta have myself one of those because I've got the Coltac squeeze bag for the back. So I got to get a matching set. Y'all know what I mean when I say a squeeze bag for the back?
You want me to show one? I got about 40 bags in the arm.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Jay.
I heard a rumor that you like bags.
Yeah.
So we got Oceans 374.
Jamie's tactic.
I'm sorry.
I said I've squeezed Jamie's bag.
Don't mind. Here's a real quick look at the holsters that Mark made. So
Look at those beauties.
they are beautiful.
I like those grips on that 1911 with that US cut in it. That's pretty cool. So we got Oceans 374. Welcome him to the chat tonight, and we'll have to get him on soon. We've been missing him. But Mario presented his testimony at his church this past Sunday. So
Julio.
tell everybody that you'll go to Ocean 374 and check out his testimony. You see, the Great Commission commands us to go and make disciples. And, you know, people can argue about meanings of the Bible and if the Bible is real or whatever. But one thing I'll say to you that they can't repute your personal testimony. A lost person or somebody that's argumentative cannot detract what God has done in your life. So the best way to share the gospel is to learn to present your testimony in 3 minutes. And if you can do that, that's going to reach a lot of different people. And with that, we got to go through the room and start getting out of here. And we'll let Hillbilly go first because he's got to show Gary which buttons to push.
Well, no, not really. Oh man, thank you very much, guys, for having me on. I really appreciate that very much. Always a blast. Great way to start off Friday nights. Great side chat, panel, everything. I just enjoy it so much. We got Guns, Beer, and Therapy coming up tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And right before that is Brooke Cheney's show. It's an hour before that, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, so if you get a chance to catch that. And then up after this show, we have Gizzard Gary with Foul Territory, and then Gun Websites with 2A weekly wrap-up. So plenty of live shows to watch this weekend, not counting Scotsman and others on Sunday. Always great stuff out there. But thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate y'all very much.
Thank you, buddy. Who wants to go next? Chad, you go next.
Well, I I don't really know exactly what I have planned for this weekend. Typically what I do, I'll film whatever video I'm going to make on either Sunday or Monday and then get it edited Tuesday and Wednesday night so I can have it up on Thursday. I've got 3 ideas, so it'll be one of the 3, either something on reloading, one of 2 topics, and I've got an idea, and if I can make it work, that's probably going to be what it is. But the all the gossip going around right now about if the bullet actually went through Trump's ear, he'd have a concussion and hearing damage and all that nonsense. People trying to say he didn't get hit. So I've got a couple ideas to show that that's just bunk science. So if I can get that filmed properly, hopefully have something at least fun showing that that's not at all correct. But that's the main plan, as long as I don't get rained out down at my range this weekend. So something new. I usually try to have a new video every Thursday.
Glad you could join us. It was really good to get you on here. And,
Absolutely.
we had a good time. You get a lot of good information. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoy being invited, and a good excuse to finally get out of work a little early. So had a great time hanging out with you guys for a couple hours. So good to see everybody in the side chat. And
Well, we want you to feel welcome, and if anytime you can make it back, all you got to do is let me know, and we'll send you a link.
sounds good.
This comment by Link here just touches my heart, y'all.
Yep.
Very much.
So, Pat in the bunker's still gone. How about you, Mark Thomas? What you got coming up this week?
Don't know. I'm going to be just doing a little bit more leather work. I've got some things to catch up on. I've been trying to catch up on those long overdue projects. We've got another great airsoft event coming up this next weekend, going back up to EMR where Bad Blood was. Going to have a good time there. And, well, we're just counting down those last few weeks of summer. We've got, I guess, about 3 or 4 more till we got to go back to school. So just having a good time, resting, relaxing, enjoying what we can. Thanks for having me. Been great. Been awesome topic, and been great hanging out with the side chat, trying to keep up with those comments. So looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I won't be here next weekend because we're going to travel up there on Friday. And Mike, I won't be on the Saturday chat. I'll try to check in when I can. And
All right.
yeah, I'll just drop in a little bit, drop in the comments, but I won't be able to be on the panel. So let me know who wins those holsters. Give me the addresses, and I'll ship them out from here.
Yeah, we won't do it this Saturday. It'll be possibly next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to be away.
I've got to.
Oh, okay, that's when you're going to be away. Okay.
I'm going to talk to you about that as soon as we clear off. So
All right.
there's that. So, Mr. Blow Smoke, Mr. Gene from the Hot Pot, what you got coming up this week?
Oh, let's see. First, I want to thank the side chat and the panel. And Chad, thanks for bringing a great topic tonight and explaining everything. It's fabulous. I watch your videos, and man, you just you work hard at what you do, brother. You really do. You put a lot of time and effort into everything. Everybody, check out my video coming out this weekend for Scotsman's donation. I'll be doing 2 different packages. It's my 5,000 sub and Scotsman's benefit for me. Definitely check out Hillbilly Ups, that's for sure. See, this weekend I've got a Steel Challenge match tomorrow and a USPSA Sunday, so I'll be busy at the ranges for 2 days, having a lot of fun, and we're all about having some good fun. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate everybody, and I'm gonna throw it over there to 6.
All right. Yeah, thanks for letting me be on again. I got 2 more days of rain, so I'm gonna probably be in the house doing some reloading. I got a bunch of O-rings coming, I'm going to rebuild my blue PCP rifle, and that's about it. So I need to get that rifle rebuilt so I can shoot some more of those challenges. And
Very good.
let me be on here.
Thanks for being here, buddy. We appreciate you. Mr. Walter, what you working on?
Well, again, first of all, this was a thoroughly enjoyable show tonight. Chad had an awful lot to offer to us and answered a lot of questions that we all had. So I was thrilled to death to see you down there, Chad. That was great. Hope you can come again. Everybody over on the side chat, you guys know how I feel about you. Most of you are subscribed to my channel. We're just all part of the same big family. So it's always good to spend family time here on Friday night. As far as what I got coming up, not a whole lot. I got just a couple irons in the fire right now. As you guys already probably know, we got this RL 550B rebuild that I've been doing. And on my Rumble channel, I've got a kind of a continuation of the Free the Few series. And I've been bringing out my Hensley and Gibbs molds kind of one at a time. Some of them you guys may have seen before, but I got a brand new one. Well, no Hensley and Gibbs molds are brand new, but I got an additional one recently that's wad cutter, a Type 2 wad cutter for 44. So I'm going to cast that one up next. Right now we got the number 130 bullet for 45 ACP. We'll shoot that next week and load it up next Friday on the Rumble channel. And if you're a Rumble channel follower, you'll get a sneak preview of how that 550B came out, because I loaded those rounds on that press the day I finished it. So that won't be shown on YouTube, but the Rumble guys will get to see what that press looks like, because it is all done now. But anyway, so and then on YouTube channel, we got the cleaning up of all of that parts after I took the 550B apart. Used a couple pretty good products that I want to show you guys how that went. So that's what we got going on at Casa de Viejo.
Very good, very good. Thanks for being here, brother. Nice shirt, by the way. CW, what you got working on, bud?
Well, I've still got a video a day, and I've been throwing in some extras. And even days of the week, I've got short comes out at 9 o'clock at night on a different caliber. Sometimes I've been going through some obscure ones, but I've got some common ones coming up as well, and I got some really strange ones you probably never dreamt existed. So that's pretty neat. This coming week, I've got some more on the 35 Whalen. I got a couple more challenges. I've got a package that came in, and I've got another new series starting. So it'll be fun.
Busy.
Yeah, it's been staying busy. It's it's how I survive. So going fishing on the weekends, it's been going good. We've had some really good weather. We're going to get out there again tomorrow. We've got no wind, and we've got down on the shore, it's going to be in the 80s, so that's going to be nice. It should be really, really good weather, and hope we can catch some good fish to get in the freezer. So I'd like to see everybody here tonight. It was great to see Chad. Talking to him a lot in his videos. Has a good time. We have a good time on his videos. He just posted a video this week on a range bag that was a really good video. I encourage everybody to check out his channel. I think DJ put up a link to his channel, so check out Chad and give him a sub. He'd sure appreciate it. And it was good to see all you guys on the channel and everybody in the side chat. And I hope everybody has a marvelous, safe week. We'll see you back here on Friday night.
Very cool. Thank you, CW, for being here with us. Thank all you guys on the side chat. I got to talk to Hillbilly right quick. I'm going to have to make him an offer he can't refuse. And other than that, we hope all y'all have a great week coming up, a great weekend. We hope the Lord blesses you all real good. And if he's willing, we will see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say goodnight, y'all.
God bless
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good